For kilometers away from the coast of Japan, a giant airport is floating in the sea. It is so big that it can be seen from the International Space Station in space. It is not only the world's first airport built in the sea, but the bridge connecting it to the ground is also the longest bridge of its kind. The state-of-the-art design of the airport, the place where it is built, was also the largest man-made island at that time, which was specially built for this airport. The entire project is an engineering masterpiece, which was built with a cost of $20 billion, i.e. approximately 1650 billion rupees. But what was left in it during construction that it is sinking into the sea day by day? Why did Japan take this risk of leaving the ground and building an airport in the sea? And what are the engineers planning to stop it from sinking now? Welcome to Tuck TV's videos again. Viewers, when it comes to future technology and amazing structures, how is it possible not to take Japan's name? Japan, the world's first high-speed train Tokaido Shinkansen, launched after only 18 years of total destruction and nuclear attacks during World War II and left the entire world in shock. The rest of the world only talks about shock absorbers for cars, but Japan is the only country where shock absorbers must be installed under skyscrapers to save the Earth from an earthquake. But it is not that every shot of Japan is always aimed at the right target. Engineering projects fail, and there are mistakes in them. And some of these mistakes were made while building Japan's Kansai International Airport. This airport, built in the Kansai region of Japan, is very close to Osaka City, Kobe, and Kyoto, where already 3 airports are within a radius of only 50 kilometers. But considering Japan's increasing population and economic demands, another airport was needed here. Now, the problem was that the airports that were already here were populated on all 4 sides. It was not possible to expand those airports. And on the other hand, the land in the Kansai region was in the use of farmers who refused to give for the airport. Japan had only one option left to increase its exports and facilitate international tourists, that is to somehow build an airport on Osaka Bay. This part of Osaka Bay is about 60 feet deep, and building an airport here means that an island will be built here first. The construction of the Kansai International Airport began in 1987. At that time, only $8 billion was estimated for the project, but due to the complications of the project, this amount reached from $8 billion to $20 billion. If it had been built on land, this cost would have doubled, because they would have to pay a heavy compensation to the farmers to buy land. Engineers designed 2 islands for the Kansai Airport. One is 4 kilometers long, and the other is 5 kilometers long. These 2 islands will be standing on the base of a massive sea wall. The sea here is about 60 feet deep, and 750 million cubic feet of soil has been dug from the mountains to fill it. Japan had built many islands before this, but in this case, the mud at the bottom of the sea 4 kilometers away from the coast was quite different, and it was not safe to build a superstructure on it. Engineers took samples of this mud at the bottom of the sea. After testing and calculation, some experts guessed that the airport would sink up to 19 feet here, while some said that it could sink more than 25 feet. Interestingly, the airport had to sink in both cases. To save money, officials designed the island and the airport's foundation at a height of 19 feet. And this was their biggest mistake. The first stage of the construction process was to harden the ocean floor. 10 lakh drilling pipes were put in the ocean floor and they were vibrated. Because of this vibration, the loose sand was compressed, which hardened the floor to quite an extent. After removing the pipes, special sand was added to the remaining 10 lakh drilling holes to absorb water. On the other hand, 48,000 concrete blocks were used to build a 24 kilometers long seawall. The seawall was built by putting stones and mud in giant steel chambers, and then concrete blocks were placed in the middle of these steel chambers. There was only one purpose of building the seawall: to save the airport from typhoons and the terrible waves that could occur due to it. Now, by putting mud inside the seawall, the height of the island was increased from the level of the sea to 65 feet. After building the island, construction workers started the work of airport and runway construction. In 1990, the bridge from Osaka to the airport was also built, which cost about $1 billion. The construction of Kansai International Airport was already decided, but engineers and officials had a very big misconception that the airport would only fit 19 feet inside. While during construction, the island had already gone in about 34 feet. The island, which was lifted 65 feet above sea level, had already decreased by 34 feet before the airport was launched. In this confusion, engineers estimated that in 50 years, the island would reach a height of 13 feet above sea level and become stable. A height of 13 feet is the minimum requirement to save the airport from floods. But even here, their estimate was proved wrong, because what they were expecting after 50 years, it only came in 10 years. Yes, by the time the second terminal of the airport was launched, the island had reached a height of only 13 feet by dipping 52 feet. And today, it is standing at a very dangerous level and is going deeper and deeper day by day. Now it is being said that by 2056, Kansai International Airport will sink another 13 feet and reach sea level. To avoid this, the seawall of the airport is raised every day, which has already cost $150 million. But only the seawall is not being strengthened to save Kansai International Airport. Hydraulic jacks are installed in the foundation of the airport, which are raised every other year. After every 2 years, the foundation of the entire airport is raised by about 1.5 inches, which does not reduce the risk of sinking, but there is definitely a delay. Whatever steps are being taken to save the island and the airport, it is only a temporary step. Japan knows very well that the airport will be out of hand one day. Every year, they are saving the airport by spending millions of dollars, but at the same time, they are also buying time, so that by that time, they may be able to build another airport in Kansai. On the one hand, where the danger of sinking the airport is hovering over the head, on the other hand, nature is also knocking every year. In 2018, Typhoon JB hit Osaka Bay. This storm was so severe that it increased the sea level by 10 hours and all the water entered Kansai Airport. The runways were filled with water, and the ships parked at the airport also suffered a great loss. Because of this incident, all the operations at the airport had to be halted. Kansai International Airport is definitely sinking, but the Japanese do not give up, but accept their victory, because they have shown the courage to do what no other nation has been able to do. I hope you will like and share this video of Tuck TV. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.